Hey everybody, Jay here, HoonTV in the USA, actually in Arizona, that's where I live. We're at my buddy Jordan's shop. Great dude, great car collection. You might already know him, LowballerGTR on Instagram. He's got some really amazing cars. Let's go hear his story. What's up, Jordan?
What's up, bud?
Long time no see.
Long time no see, indeed.
Everything's good?
Everything's always good.
So let's go and do a nice little shop tour.
Sure, man. Where do you want to start?
Let's start at the back.
Okay.
Obviously, this is the crown jewel that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah.
But let's just show some of the other stuff. Maybe show your wife's awesome race car and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's go there. No problem, dude. Yeah, there's really no stopping it. Unless you go barefoot, then you look like a hippie. So we can start back here. This is my wife's car. This is a 2018 M3. This is a one-of-one 6-speed comp, ordered in a Rolls-Royce color called Twilight Purple Metallic. So we've had this car since new. When it came in, I did the Haas kit, BMW coilover kit. We did the BBS wheels before they got mega trendy. Now everyone has them.
Of course.
But this is probably one of our favorite cars, and we drove it a ton. It's got like 22,000 miles. I think in retrospect, knowing what was going to come down the pipeline from BMW, maybe we would have chilled out a little bit on that.
Yep.
But it's been a wonderful car, dude. Really, really cool machine.
Yep. That's a beautiful color. Of course, love the carbon roof, right?
Yeah,
like,
with the comp package.
That's a big reason to want to have something like that.
Yeah, I love this car. It's been a lot of fun. And then this is her 2018 Miami Blue GT2 RS, Weiss-it car. She is really colorful as far as like a palette is concerned. I don't have nearly the, the color palette she does.
We can definitely notice who owns what in the relationship here.
Yeah,
for
definitely,
sure.
dude, definitely.
Yeah.
So she loves this car, man, and she's always wanted a Miami Blue GT car.
Yep.
And when we bought this, the GT3s were kind of going crazy. But GT2s were kind of still in, I would say, a more attractive price point. They hadn't got so nuts. So we ended up picking this one up, and it's been a wonderful car.
And of course, that's something, when I first saw this a while ago with you,
yeah.
When I had told you, I said, the car that I'm building currently, I said, that's the color that literally just spoke to me, is just carbon fiber, and that blue, it just pops.
It just pops really well, man. And it's funny because some of the Porsche colors blend, like Riviera, Miami. Mexico's a little bit darker, but I just think Miami Blue's got a really cool hue. And like you said, on black or like any sort of contrasting color, it looks really good.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful car.
Thanks, man.
And then behind us, real quick.
Yeah.
She's getting big into some road racing, time attack kind of stuff.
She is. We started doing track stuff about a year ago. She did. I've always kind of done the track stuff, and she rode shotgun. And I could tell she just had like an interest in it, and kudos to the guys at Apex. They kept pushing her, Apex Motor Club in Maricopa, and they just kept pushing her like, hey, come out here, you're gonna have fun. It's not like an ego fest, and it really isn't. They're wonderful people. And man, she started doing time attack and has just been really crushing it. She had her first event a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and she podiumed, right?
Yeah, she did. She podiumed, second place in like Delta in consistency. So, I mean, she was up against some really crazy cars on some slicks, and this is pretty much a street car. But she did really awesome. I was really proud of her.
And how much better of a driver on track is she than you?
I'm getting concerned. Yeah, dude, I'm taking lessons now. So if it wasn't for like stupidity and testosterone, she would probably be considerably faster. But I work with every fiber of my being to keep up with her.
That marriage is always a competition, no matter what you're doing.
It is, dude. It is. But she's done really well, and she loves it. And I think it's cool when you can share your hobby with your spouse, and she's totally embraced it.
And real quick, so talk about this pattern for those who don't know.
Yeah. So this is like a Jeff Koons art car. He did a lot of the livery design for BMW Motorsport. Not a lot of people know about it. I think it's really cool. It just kind of looks like it almost like coming out of the galaxy. It has like an explosion at the end,
Ludicrous
the black
speed.
in the front. Yeah, like ludicrous speed kind of look to it. And Signature Wraps out here did this design for me. No one actually had done the design that they could find, like in this big database they have. So anybody that wants this, it's been paid for by me and all the design stuff.
You're welcome, everybody.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, America. So no, it's really cool. I love the wrap on it. It's probably one of the best parts about it, and she loves the car too.
Yep, and I saw some footage that you had posted of her driving, and it's one of those things that comes around the corner, and it's just like, holy crap, that thing is loud.
Yeah, it looks fast too. Yeah, it looks fast sitting still.
Yeah.
And then she drives it and it really boogies.
Yeah, that thing's super, super sweet.
Thanks, man.
And then we'll move on to the monocolors.
Yeah,
Black's your thing.
Yep, slimming effect. So we'll start up here. CLK 63 Black Series. This car's got 17,000 miles on it. This was actually one of my really, really close friends' cars, I'll say. And dude, unfortunately, maybe 3 years ago, he passed away of a heart attack. And the family sold his car collection. Some of our mutual friends knew that I wanted the car. They reached out to me. I'm forever grateful for that. But I think this car is just really special in the sense that I think modern cars today, like they just put a sticker and there's really no difference. And the trim, the base trim versus, and this car has the GT3, diff cooler, the wide body. I think this was the first car that got delivered to the United States with a rear back seat delete, as very common as it is in GT cars. This was one of the first. And it's just a really gnarly car to drive, and I love it. Öhlins coilovers from the factory, etc.
Yeah, the little subtle things, I mean, not really that subtle with the flares on it.
Yeah.
But it is significantly a different look when you put that side by side to a standard one that we had in the US.
Dude, totally. Yes, absolutely, man.
And of course, black is just menacing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So. And it's hard to keep clean. So.
Yep. And you love to just detail because you've got a whole lot of black going on in
Our
here.
detailer's kids are going to go to Harvard on us,
Yep. I love this thing.
Yeah.
I'm a hardcore wagon dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
And unfortunately, the U.S. market just does not get that kind of love.
No.
And you've got a sick, what do we have going on here?
Yeah, this is an E63 wagon. It's been kept pretty stock. It's got some 21-inch HREs on it. We did an AWE exhaust on it, but otherwise, mostly stock for that. At some of those two things, we lowered it with a lowering module. These are just really nice. I think it's super practical, man. We can take our dogs out. When I got these wheels, I put the wheels in the wagon and took it to the shop. Like you said, man, they're just super practical. I don't know why they never caught on in America, because wagons are sick, dude,
Because what sort of power does this thing make? Just factory, you think?
This car's a little over 700 now, so I mean, it boogies, dude.
But yeah, I mean, 700 horsepower out of any vehicle is pretty crazy, let alone a wagon that you can fit 4 people and your dogs.
Yeah.
And extra set of wheels.
Yeah, dude. And it's just really rad. And then all the AMGs are hand built, which I think is really a cool thing still that the Mercedes is doing.
Yeah, and it's just wild. You look at it and you're like, okay, it's just some covers, some little carbon Kevlar stuff, nothing special, but you can daily drive this thing, no problem, and smoke almost everything on the road.
Absolutely. And they're really cool when they launch, man. They just dig super hard with the air suspension, and they just look really rad. I love this car. It's one of my favorite cars that we own.
Yeah, I wish Mercedes and BMW would get more into that wagon wars in the U.S.
I think the new M5, though, might be coming in the wagon form.
An M3 wagon would be ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, bro. Ridiculous. I'd be all over that.
So let's hope that these guys listen, and us enthusiasts, even though it's a pricey piece.
Yeah. I think the final editions were like 160 USD.
Yeah.
The last edition of this car, which is
before the dealer markup.
Yeah, dude. $250,000 with dealer markup. So it's kind of eye-watering, but yeah, it would be cool to see some more estate cars come to the U.S., but I just don't think it's a market that the U.S. market is just not super attractive for that.
They can keep buying their Subaru wagons. And
I guess, dude. Yeah, but man,
lame.
Get some fast wagons, dude.
Yeah. Ferrari.
Yeah, this is a 355. It's factory 355 in the sense that it's not a challenge car, but it was challenge converted. So challenge front bumper, challenge wing, spoiler there, challenge wing, all the challenge interior, challenge seats. And this car is pretty unique. It's got a Toyota stroker motor in it and Toyota Spec C cam. So it just chops really hard like an LS. It's a gated 6-speed. And I've just always thought these were really cool cars. Flip up headlights, super rad wood vibes come off of this car. I love it.
Yep, that's straight 90s flip up headlights.
Yeah, dude.
RX-7s, you name it. Yeah. All the stuff we had back then, all the JDM cars.
Yeah.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah,
you wanted to be able to wink at people.
Yeah, and it's cool. It's modified. It's got JRZs on it, work wheels. And I just think modified Ferraris are really cool, as so many of them stay stock. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's fun to just chop something up every now and again.
Plus it's fun to mess with the purists, right? They get so upset about it.
The Ferrari guys get really incensed about it, but that's kind of half the joy of it.
That absolutely is.
Yeah, dude.
I love this car.
Yeah.
Just because I'm an OG Honda guy, right?
Yeah.
So EM1.
Yep, EM1. This is a 99 SI. It remained with the original owner for about 14 years, and it is a 13,000 mile car. Although it does have aftermarket wheels and suspension on it, I actually have new old stock SI wheels and the factory suspension. So we're going to be returning the car back to stock here probably in the next 6 months or so. But it is super immaculate. Underside is beautiful. It still has the factory paint markings. And so many of these cars just got stolen and shopped, you know? It's really, really hard to find them in unmodified, low mileage condition.
That's what I was going to say. People like me who are Honda boys from back in the 90s.
Dude, all of us.
But then we just said, all-wheel drive conversion, K-Series, let's make them crazy now.
We did it all.
You can't find them like that kind of quality at all anywhere now.
No, one of my good friends had a '01 Phoenix Yellow Type R, and 2 days after he bought it, we put a Jackson Racing blower on it, and we didn't understand tuning at the time. And dude, 2 days he blew the car up. And I was just like, I didn't really know at the time how big of a deal that was, so we absolutely ruined some perfectly good Hondas growing up.
Yep, because they were cheap and easy to fix. So.
Yeah, dude, I feel so bad about that car. Golly.
So going from European, Japanese, some JDM stuff.
Yeah.
We got some more really, really special JDM cars right here.
Yep.
2 different GTRs.
Yep, so we'll start with the T-Spec. So T-Spec, one of 22 that we believe per the registry that was delivered to the United States. This is a midnight purple car, and this car actually has never been driven. So it still has delivery miles on it. So 32 miles are still on this car. I probably will never do that again, as I feel pretty awful that I can never drive it, and now so much time has passed. I feel nervous driving it.
Well, especially you, because you like to drive your stuff.
Yeah, dude, I really do enjoy it.
Something like this, you bought it, and it turns into an investment piece that you get to look at it
Yeah.
and not want to even turn miles on it, because obviously that affects the value.
Yeah, I probably will never do this again. This was a mistake, but I love the car. Hopefully in 20 years, we could put it through like Monterey Used Car Week. Or
$5 million.
Yeah, like walk away with a bag, but I will never do the delivery car thing again. It's cool to preserve it. It'll remain this way, unless, you know, one day I get a wild hair and drive it.
Which you may just.
Maybe you might just do that. Who knows?
I, of course, love this car, this 34.
Yeah.
Me being a journalist for almost 30 years now. Mm-hmm. Motor X, original Fed legal car.
Yep, this is one of the, I think there are 17 on the list now, one of 17 Fed legal Motor X cars. So this is a 2001 V-Spec 2. It's a little over, I think, 38,000 kilometers on it now. And it's just an immaculate car. My friend Dan Hogan, he owns a shop locally. When I got the car, it had just small little paint issues on each panel, a little chip that couldn't be paint corrected. So we resprayed the car, the OEM GV1, all new old stock trim on the outside. The interior was always immaculate, and I think that's the hard stuff to find, dash pieces, etc.
Those seats are crazy money now.
Yes, the whole interior is like 25 grand now, which blows my mind. But the interior was immaculate, and I felt the exterior should match it.
Yeah.
So all HKS bolt-ons, you know, just intercooler kit, intake kit, HKS coilovers, HKS exhaust. Nothing too crazy on the mod path. I wanted to keep it pretty stock and have it be a fun driver.
Yeah, and it doesn't need a whole lot to liven it up a little bit, you know.
No.
Obviously, the Australian guys, they love to go thousands of horsepower in these
Yes,
things,
dude.
which is awesome. But at the
indeed.
same time, it's sometimes just nice, reliable, runs, turns on.
Yes.
Sounds good. Still a little probably underpowered.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to your SVJ and all the other cool stuff that you have.
Yeah, this car is probably about as fast as probably like a bolt-on STI. It's not crazy.
Like your Civic.
Yeah, it's not like super crazy, but it runs great. Drive it in the summer. Air conditioning works well. So I really love this car, you know, and it's, people say what they, you know, GTRs can be unreliable. I've never had a problem. This, knock on wood, this car has never left me stranded.
Okay. I don't know what else to say on it. Like I said, I've always been a hardcore 32 guy.
Yeah.
And 34s are just, now that they're starting to become more legal.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the price doesn't become what we're expecting it to do.
Yeah.
Because it would be great to see more of these and people being able to enjoy them instead of buying them and just garage keep them because they're too scared to put any mileage on it.
Yeah, in the U.S., man, you know, looking at 32 and 33 prices, they've gone up like, you know, over 100% in a lot of the cases. Right. So if they're trading hands now at 150 to 200 in Japan, I want it to be obtainable for people, but who knows, man? I mean, they really could be $300,000-$400,000 cars for an early Series 99.
Yeah, I mean, we're not far off from that 25-year exemption.
Yeah.
Give us another year and a half.
Yeah.
And
I know the first cars are landing now, but like I'm curious to see what do V-Spec 2s do, M-Specs, M-Spec NERS. I think those are going to start pulling some serious dough.
Crazy money.
Crazy dough.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely love that car.
Thank you, man.
I did stuff with Motor X, photography-wise, when they first got started.
Yeah.
So Sean Morris and all those guys, that's where they got their start with the GTR stuff in the U.S.
Yep.
And I still have a great relationship, and it's awesome to see that car, especially because you're local to me. So it's awesome that I can kind of come and visit that and be like, such a great piece of really American car history, if you will.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the first 34s that ever came to the U.S. So super, super love that. As we had talked about, I worked for Mopar as a photographer for many years.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into a little bit of muscle. One of my favorite cars of all time, Viper. This is an ACR.
Yeah, this is an ACR Extreme. It's 2016. I mean, there's really not much to say about this. This car is just probably one of the gnarliest cars you'll ever take to the track. This was, the ACR came out, ACR Extreme, I should say, kind of came out because the Hellcat started to get so much traction, and this was Chrysler's flagship car at the time,
right.
Dodge's. And I don't think they wanted it to be, you know, overshadowed by the Hellcat line. So, you know, they took it, and their engineer, I believe the aerodynamic engineer for Chrysler is who took this, and they broke 13 track records with this car in the United States.
Yeah, I used to film a whole lot of road racing and stuff like that,
yeah.
IMSA, and these started popping up and just whooping on everybody.
Yeah.
And it was a stock engine, you put an intake on it, and like a straight pipe exhaust, and they were just ripping.
Yeah, and this car's insane. It's got a Bilstein, Bilstein coilovers from the factory. I don't think there's one piece of rubber in all of the suspension. It's pretty much all like really, really nice spherical bearings on it, and it's just a cool car, dude. And it absolutely is one of the most amazing track cars you'll ever drive out of the box. I personally think it's a lot better than even the Porsche GT cars. I know that'll twist everybody up, but if you don't mind driving a manual transmission car, this is amazing.
And then before we move on, so a lot of the ACRs actually had stripes.
Yeah.
So this is a striped Elite car?
This is a striped Elite car. When I bought this car, it sat at the dealership for quite some time because of that.
Yep.
And now it really seems like the striped Elite cars are
more valuable.
Yeah, like the Ford GTs, the striped Elite cars are now more valuable. My plan was to twin turbo it like so many of them had done, but once I started driving it, I took it to the track, I was like, this thing's incredible. Yeah, I'm gonna just leave it just like this. I love the way it is factory.
Yeah, like I said, it's one of my favorite muscle car of all time.
Yep.
From any era, so.
It's a bummer they're gone.
Yep.
Only 2 years of production on the ACR-E's.
Sadly, we got to keep these alive.
I know, man.
We don't need it to make no sounds when you start it.
I know. It's a bummer, dude.
Yep. Up top.
Yeah, so this is a 56 Chevrolet. It's a two-door car. It's a post car. This has a 427 big block in it with a Doug Nash 5-speed. It's been punched out to a 440. Fun fact about this car, I bought this engine off a really close friend of mine. He bought the engine in the mid-'80s, and when I went to pick it up, he was like, hey, this is actually like a COPO warranty block, so be careful. And it's just like, that's really stressful. Yeah. So, it's a big block car with the 5-speed. It's a great Saturday night bruiser. It's really cool. Love taking the car out. Only can drive it certain times of the year here with the heat, but it's been a really, really fun car to own. And it was white. My buddy Dan that painted the 34 did the paint job on it and kind of created that like faux Tina appearance that you see.
Yeah, that is definitely not an Arizona July or August car, that's for sure.
No, it is not. Absolutely
Even
not.
with the windows rolled down, it is.
Yeah.
When it's 120 outside, it's
sweat
too hot.
to death, dude. Sweat to death.
Up top. Dodge Neon SRT4, of course.
Yep. So the Dodge Neon is the reason we have ACRs, and a lot of people don't know that. Yeah. So American Championship Racer, this is a 05 SRT4 with a Mopar dealer added stage 3. So you could do a stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. So the stage 3 included a slightly bigger turbo, high octane mode, an intercooler sprayer kit, just a couple of little things. But the fun part is that when the dealer installed it, you kept your factory warranty. Yeah. So this car's got a little over 400 horsepower. It was dealer maintained. And in 05, man, they were running, stage 3 cars were in the 12s, right. Which I know by today's standards is really not the fastest. Yeah. But back in the day, it was lightning quick.
That was 20 years ago now.
Yeah, man. Just about. That's depressing to think about, but it totally was, dude.
And the thing I love about this is Honda kind of ruled that small engine market for a long time.
They did.
You had some Mitsubishi Eclipses and kind of popping up, and then Dodge said, why are we not capitalizing on that? We don't need big V8, 396s or whatever. We can do a 2-liter turbo.
Yeah.
And really affordable, looks really cool, and especially like the ACRs when they did the white with the blue stripes to mimic the Vipers.
Yeah, the commemorative editions.
Absolutely loved how that looked.
Yeah.
And they were road racing and doing great.
Yeah.
People were actually building these in a full-on NHRA like sport compact drag cars. And yeah, for the money, it was really a good competitor for Honda. Oh
yeah, I mean, and kind of anything, right? I think the MSRP before non-ACRs was $19,995.
Yeah, they kept it under 20 grand because of that reason. Do you want to buy a Sentra or do you want to buy a cool turbo car?
Exactly. I mean, they were dominant. They were about the same cost as Sentra. Anything else that was naturally aspirated, considerably cheaper than Evos and STIs at the time when they arrived in America.
By a good $10,000–$15,000.
Yeah, which was a lot of money. And the ACRs had a Takiko 5-way adjustable strut from the factory, the BBS wheels, ACR seats, a couple of other little small things, but they're just really cool cars, kind of underappreciated. Still a bargain today. I'm blown away that you can still find really low mileage ones for about 20–25 grand. So it's cool they held their MSRP for 20–25 years, but you know, don't knock it till you've tried it. Awesome cars, handle good, and they're freight trains in a straight line for a little 4-cylinder.
I still love front wheel drive, so
same, man.
You know, I'm equal opportunity.
Yeah, dude,
all-wheel
absolutely.
drive, rear, you name it. Out of this section of your car collection, what do we got here?
This is a Dodge Demon. So this is actually, of all the cars, this is the first new car that I ever got to sit down and order because we were so busy building the business for so long that I was like, you know what, when this comes out, I really want one. I was fortunate I had a good dealership at the time.
These were very allocated at the time.
Yeah, they were. And you know, Dodge made you sign a paper that said you have to sell the car at sticker and you'll get the car faster. So I was able to do that. This car is actually, it's 840 horsepower in high octane mode. They're super duper rowdy. It's basically a rental car unibody with an enormous supercharged Hemi stuffed in it. It's really sketchy to drive, kind of like an American mullet mobile. This car, ironically, I got it delivered and we were gonna go on a rally, my wife and I, and the car we were gonna take broke. So at the last minute, this car got loaded up. It got dropped off in New York City with 66 miles on it. And this car went coast to coast. So this car has drove from New York to San Diego. And it might be the only Demon, and we did that in 9 days and put about 5,000 miles on it.
So it wasn't even broken, so you couldn't even full rev or anything?
No, we kind of did, so, you know, second owner, I'm sorry. But this car dragged so much stuff on that rally. It was awesome. It snuck up on a lot of supercars. No one saw it coming. No one really knew what it was. So, yeah, I don't think that there was one person that didn't get totally shit on by this car when we were out there. It was awesome.
And the other funny thing, when I was doing stuff with Mopar, I'd actually was unfortunately not working with them any longer when this came out, but I was helping a local car dealership. So when these started to become available, it was like, hey, here, it comes with 2 keys. So people were always wondering, why has it got a red key? Why has it got a black key?
Yeah.
And it's like, valet mode. It's like, well, valet mode's still 500 horsepower or something crazy.
It was, and I thought that was really cool. I always wondered, how do they regulate that? But it's a supercharger with a throttle body on it. So that throttle body actually acts as a boost controller. It bleeds some power, and with the red key, it fully closes and closes all the power, and then, you know, the over 800 horse is at your disposal.
And I can really appreciate in the muscle car wars, you know, Dodge really has so many trim levels of vehicles where Chevy, it was kind of like,
SS or like ZL1.
Yeah, you had 2 options, where here it was like, we're going to put this engine in anything it fits in, we're going to stuff an engine like that in. So you had a bunch of different options for if you needed a sedan. And of course now people were buying wagons and taking crate motors and throwing them in, and same thing. 1,000 horsepower easy all day on pump gas out of a wagon.
Yeah, I just think they're really cool. And Dodge has always been, in my opinion, the king of the horsepower wars. And people will say, oh, they're heavy, they're boats, but you know, they're going bottom 8s with bolt-ons. So I don't know, numbers don't lie. I don't care how heavy the car is. If the boat gets across the water faster than your boat, it is what it is, dude, you know?
Yep.
I love them for that reason.
And we can appreciate that Chevy has really cornered the market at the end of the day with affordable LSs.
Yeah.
They have so many variations, so it's easy to make power.
Yeah.
But the guys who are doing these and making power, you got to give a good shout out for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
So moving on to some very special vehicles, BMW M5.
Yeah, E39 M5. I love this car. When I was a kid, I saw that video that Madonna and Guy Ritchie were in. It was called The Driver, where they're going through, I want to say, the streets of the UK, and it was just really sick, man. They like jumped this E39, and to me, this is just a super timeless BMW design, naturally aspirated V8. Sounds wonderful. This is a Dynon car, actually. It was upgraded with all the Dynon bits. It's a BMW tuner that honored the BMW warranty.
Right.
I bought this car from the original owner. It's got some miles on it. It's about 90,000 miles, but it's been kept in wonderful shape. I did a bunch of restoration work on it. All the suspension's been replaced, new control arms. Basically, totally blew my budget, but the car is as good as a new one that you could get today if they were still being made, and I just love it. It's a really, really awesome car.
One thing I appreciate also, that kidney grill.
Yeah.
is not obnoxious compared to the new stuff that they got going on.
Yeah, it's the factory, the BMW, very iconic kidney grills. Those are brand new old stock ones, and I just think they're awesome. It's just like, this is a timeless BMW to me. It's from the eras when I grew up, and I love this car.
Another vehicle that I absolutely love.
Yeah, 996 turbo. I know this car is not the favorite with the fried egg headlight, but this was the turbo that was in showrooms when I was in high school. I love the way they look. I think they have a great look to them. They were very underappreciated for a long time, but I think, again, the interior feels very 2000s. It feels nice and compact, whereas new cars today, you're in like a cockpit kind of feel. Yeah. And I think the rear end, the hips on the car look beautiful. And
yeah, the vents and stuff just really make that back end when you go down the profile of it.
And I know people don't like to hear it, but mostly all Porsches look the same. So this was a different look, and I think that's what makes it so cool. Yeah. And all the Porsche nerds that hate them are just kind of nerds for that reason. So
yeah, I love the headlights. Personally, that front end is just...
Yeah, I love the way it looks. It was a Japanese design. You should really look up the story behind the design of this car. It's really interesting. I'll spare you guys in this little bit, but anybody that wants to kind of research it, it's really, really awesome how this car came to be.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Before we get to these two, let's do the other Porsche that's in here.
Yeah, sure. So this is a 993. This car started life as a standard Carrera. It was built in Japan. It was originally a Mizuwa car. I don't know why someone would take the sticker off the back, but they did. It was built by Technical Mate. They put their Warner kit on it, which they provided to Porsche Motorsport Japan. After that, it was shipped over to the UK with a really big air-cooled collector there. Dave the Trimmer in the UK did the entire interior, the real leather Recaros, did the entire GT rear seat delete, and then Porsche Norway put a 993 twin turbo motor in it. Right. So this is pretty much the most, I think, accurate representation of a 911 GT is what they were called. Mm-hmm. It's technically a GT2, I think, by today's standards, but this is one of the best recreations I've ever seen. Also, it's not like driving a enormous Paradise Valley mansion on the road, because at $2 million for a real one, that's a little stressful. But this is hands down one of my favorite cars. Really small, very analog, no traction control, no digital anything.
Very much a driver's vehicle.
100%, feels like a little go-kart.
How much earlier was this over fender? How much earlier did they do this before RWB actually became a thing?
So I mean, the original ones were 95, 96. Okay. And I think, RWB is so crazy. It's almost artistic how wide they are. But, this is just going to be kind of more of that OEM. So you're talking about 15 years probably, 20 years before the first RWB started to get popular, I should say. Yeah,
so it's awesome to see stuff like this. Nakai-san, he's made a great business doing amazing things.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see something like this that came along. We could say it might have been an inspiration for him, who knows?
Yeah.
But you also do have an RWB car that's unfortunately not here today.
Yeah, it's not. It's getting a tire fixed, but yeah, that's just a wildly artistic car and super cool. I love the way these things look.
When you see how wide the back end is, it's just wild to see.
On a stretch 315, it's just crazy, dude. Yeah, man, it's wild.
So, love the Porsches.
Yep.
Now we're getting into, obviously we'll leave that for the last one because that's one of my favorite cars that is absolutely just great story behind that.
Yeah.
So, A90?
Yep, A90 Supra. This is their USA demo car.
And HKS is actually local to us.
Yeah, we have their USA location is in Chandler, and it really just oversees all distributors, from what I understand. They don't do actually any physical work there, but they do have their little garage that their demo cars. They do build their demo cars there.
Okay. So they're not being done in Japan and then shipped over.
Nope. This
they're
car.
Able to work on it here.
From the build logs I've seen and done my documentation on this car and talking to them, a lot of the engineers from Japan came over for SEMA to get this car done and get it built. So it does have a little bit of that HKS Japan love on it. Yep. But this is just their wide body, their GT spoiler. Breed seats, Advans, which is kind of their secret sauce, HKS coilovers. I mean, it's basically their parts catalog is on this car, like any good demo car. I love this car.
So is this your car, or you just you're just storing it for them? Or
no, this is mine. I bought it off them. They were kind enough. They, I've got to really have a wonderful relationship with the folks there after I purchased the 33. And I said, hey, if you ever sell this, let me know. And now with some of the new stuff they've bought, the Corolla and the Z, they said, hey, we're going to sell the Supra if you're interested. And I was like, on my way, man. I love this car.
Sweet. Yeah, great. The livery, of course, is iconic.
Yeah, super iconic.
Looks great with that wide body.
Yep, the oil slick looks good.
And then last car that you have here, like I said, your SVJ's at home.
Yeah.
But how sick is this 33 GTR?
I love this car. So I bought this car from BH Auction. A friend actually told me that they're going to be auctioning this car. I remember this car from the options videos. It held 2 world records, the Tsukuba lap record and the 0 to 300 Yatabe top speed runs that they used to do in the mid 90s. And I just loved this car so much. I could not believe they were auctioning it. Stayed up until 3 a.m., went a little bit past my budget, bidding on it with a proxy bidder for BH Auction. And after I won the car, about 2 days later, they messaged me and said, hey, if you're interested in taking the car back to what they called Tsukuba spec, because it had a stock RB in it, it was rear-wheel drive. It was kind of like a really great quality SEMA build. If you're interested in taking it back to Tsukuba spec, we'll work with HKS. They want to work with you on it and do that. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge honor to be able to just have this car in general. And then them wanting to put it back.
Yeah, so it went back to HKS Japan. They did their I can pop the hood for you. They did the entire powertrain. It has their new Step 2 stroker engine in it. Their race gear set out of the 5-speed race gear set. A lot of the stuff wasn't really available to the public. This is serial number 1 of their new Step 2 stroker. And basically complete powertrain restoration. So the whole car has been nut and bolt restored. It made a little over 750 all-wheel on high boost. We kept it really conservative just because it's a circuit car. It's not a top speed car anymore. It was built for circuit racing now. And I was supposed to collect the car. They did all the work in 45 days. I was supposed to collect it, but due to COVID, I was not able to go. And they did a really cool video. They took it back to Tsukuba, where it set those records all those years ago. So it was really cool to see it 25 years later. Max Cerrito piloted it and lapping Tsukuba again.
And yeah, every time I get to come and actually look at this car, it's just shocking at how immaculate. I mean, you could eat off of the manifold. You could eat off the turbo. And I'm just stoked that you're close to me, and I can sort of, whenever you're not immensely busy, can come in and see such an amazing, really piece of JDM history.
Yeah, it's really cool, man. And they did a really, really wonderful job restoring it. It was nut and bolt. All the subframes got done. Looking under it a couple times on the lift, it's just really shocking. And then just so many small things, like even the coilovers you can see. This was a limited edition they did, and then when the car got here, I noticed the serial number on the coilovers was 0000. Just like all their pre-production units and just stuff that I totally nerd out on, that it's kind of just like, oh, it wasn't a big deal, we did that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I love this car so much. And they just did a great job, and like all the attention to detail, the VCAM setup, all the bolts are marked. I mean, it's a whole nut and bolt, just like a race car. And I was just I knew the build quality would be really phenomenal. It's like next level, which I was really not surprised by, but totally blown away by how quick they did it and the attention to detail.
Yeah, like I said, you have so many just iconic and just awesome cars in general, and I just keep coming back. And to be honest, I'm not a huge 33 fan. I'm a 32, 34 fan. But when you look at this, it's hard to not be a fan of something this iconic, this beautiful. Still has the HKS livery on it, and I photographed Max Cerrito when he started coming to the U.S. to do drifting. So he's one of those kind of godlike personalities. He comes to the U.S., and now he's put his butt in that seat and driven the wheels off of this thing.
Yeah.
And now it's here in Arizona, and that's absolutely awesome.
And I think one of the coolest parts of this car is it's got some of the HKS electronics in it. It has their lap timer in it, and all the lap times they did were at Tsukuba. So it has 31 laps they did on the shakedown day. That was in April of 2020. They had their whole engineering team out there. They were dialing in the suspension, et cetera. So it's just really cool. Once I started to turn the car on, that lap timer, 31 laps and all the lap times that they had done at Tsukuba that day.
Well, let's open the door and talk real quick about, did they do anything special on the interior or anything?
Yeah, so when this car set all the world records, it was actually factory. It had a factory dash in it, factory wiring harness, but like most great Japanese demo cars, it kind of sat outside for a long time. At the base of Mount Fuji, I have a really cool picture of this car kind of under a tattered cover and before it got brought back to life. So when they did that, obviously a lot of those soft plastic parts had failed. So unbeknownst to me, I did not know they have a carbon fiber division at HKS, but
Yeah, they're making carbon fiber there.
yeah, they do a lot of work that they don't really share with the public and, et cetera. So they did the carbon dash, carbon door panels. They moved the seating position back for a more optimal weight distribution. So the custom wiring harness they did to the F-Con is absolutely immaculate. The carbon rear deck lid. And really, it became more of a track-focused, time attack style build. I can show you the fuel system here in the trunk. So just a really basic setup here. Fuel systems on this side to offset the driver weight for good weight distribution. An enormous Weldon pump that probably is a little bit overkill. And then they actually all signed the trunk, which I just thought was really, really cool. And when I took the car to SEMA, a lot of the guys didn't understand that, but it says for Jordan and then the date of 0620. So the lead project manager, my buddy Ken Sato that worked there, just everyone that participated in the project signed the trunk, which I just thought was really cool.
I don't know what else to say. I'm super stoked. You're such a great dude, super humble.
Thanks,
You
man.
have so much knowledge about every vehicle. You got such a great passion for it.
Thanks, dude. I really appreciate
And
that.
we're in that same age group, so it's nice to see keeping the dream alive.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's really cool when like young kids, man, who are younger than us, come up and start to talk to you about this stuff. And I don't know, it just makes me so happy, dude, that we can kind of keep bringing the car out, and the future generation loves this stuff as much as we did. It's really important to kind of keep the hobby going.
And that's why I think your Instagram is really great, because you post a lot of really good content. So
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's just important. Like, this is I don't know, I think cars in general are like super cool, no matter the differences you have with people. We all have like one common love, which is cars.
Yep.
And I just think that it's really, really, really important to keep bringing this stuff out. I used to be really secretive about it. And I had a really good friend that came here one day and he said, it's pointless if you have everything and you don't show it to anybody.
Yep.
And I thought that was really, I just never wanted to be taken as braggadocious or kind of one of these like D-baggy types that brings everything out. I don't want to look like a show off. But I really respected that point. It is pointless if you have all this stuff and you never show it to anybody.
Yep. Hey, I appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, man.
It's always great to come and see this, and I appreciate your time. I know you're a crazy busy dude.
Oh.
So it's great to be able to share this with people back in Australia for HoonTV. HoonTV USA, we're out.
Two of the worst gangbangers you've ever met.
I mean, we got some pretty sick guns, though.
We got that uncovered.
Yeah.